Welcome, Cablevision HD. I'm Complacent Badger,
I'm Gimpy.
and we are here. This is the final game of Week 1.
Should be a real good matchup here. Lot of armor value in this one.
Yes, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is a new coach for the league, against Masrak's Beefcake Brigade, playing Chaos for a change, and his first game is appropriately against his old team.
Do you think he's having like like an identity crisis going into this?
Very likely.
One more.
No! You don't own me.
So I think the most interesting thing, and we're back to the umbrella. Uh, I don't, I don't know how I feel about this lineup. Anyway, Chaos Warriors versus Black Orcs is going to be the highlight here, I think.
Yeah, I will say because of the fan factor, cheerleaders, coaches, all that, he did not pick up his fourth Chaos Warrior. So shockingly, the Chaos team is going to be at a strength disadvantage,
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
and they do have the Beastmen, well, all with horns to make up for just instead of obviously they'll have the strength disadvantage in just pitched battles, but when it comes to safeties, blitzes, all that. They're actually going to have the strength advantage, so it should be a very interesting game.
Yeah, definitely.
So we see that the Orc coach has fed a few linemen to the Chaos Warriors. With the advantage of having more Black Orcs, I don't know if I would have done that.
Yeah, I might have loaded up those strength fours around the line and made him deal with it. But I think in fair trade, I don't know if the first move I make as Mazrak is actually throwing those blocks.
No, I may have done some free moves, got some receivers downfield. Not that you're going to do it, but always make that option available, and then maybe cage up a little bit more because it's always one of those things that like if you cage up before the pickup, then after you pick up, you can't move the ball anywhere. But with the setup of his team right now and the setup of the opponent, he really wasn't going to get any yardage anyways. So I think the benefit of caging up that ball before doing anything else would have been to his advantage.
Yeah, agreed. That was the big thing for me when I saw him throwing those blocks. I'm like, you don't have skills,
Yeah,
zero.
yeah,
So not pushing those with with those wide open wings, not sending at least one or two receivers down there, maybe getting like you said, like a semi-proper cage on the ball.
yeah. Sending those two beastmen down there would have been perfect. Getting that. Um, yeah, just going left. I
Which
get,
makes sense. On that right side, there's a lot of presence. So,
well, the only thing I'm looking at, and I guess it is even because that black orc in the back right there could go either direction. But just like immediately looking at it, you get a couple extra yards over there on the right, but it does have less blitzers on the left, so I guess that does make sense.
yeah. Although he does kind of concede that right wing. So, we'll see if this causes a swarm with him getting up that right wing there.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get encased, and I think with right now with the black orcs and the block on those blitzers, I think getting encased is not gonna be beneficial to him.
Yeah. And right here, this is exactly why having those two receivers downfield would have been big.
Yeah,
Even if he had to work a little bit harder to get a proper cage, that's at least one or two fewer guys who are putting pressure on it.
exactly. Black orcs doing work. Yeah, without receivers, I don't see this cage going anywhere. I think unless some injuries happen, I think this is basically where the ball's gonna be for the rest of the half.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Mazrak does. I think he has a chance to pull a receiver downfield on that left side, pick up that guy, get a few yards. He's not going to get a lot of the distance, but even a little bit could be exactly what the doctor ordered to try to spread this out just a hair.
Yeah. Well, and plus it'll get that beastman away from that black orc right now, who's just savaging him.
Yeah.
Alright, so throwing hits. Getting
The
that.
nice thing though for this chaos team is since everybody is AG3, technically anyone could be a receiver. So even a chaos where if they get into a decent position could be.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite things about the Chaos team is that because they're such a punchy team, nobody expects them to play the passing game. But in a moment where you really don't have any options or it's just equals less rolls, they're still pretty capable.
Yeah, I mean AG3 is still really decent at passing. When you look
I
at
mean, it's
Amazons, they're considered an agility team, and they have zero AG4 players. Maybe one their catcher's AG4 on that team. I think they're
no,
AG3.
they're all AG3, but the catchers come standard with catch and dodge, so that reroll kind of brings them up to that. Amazons really still do play as a more of a running team, anyways, though.
Fair enough.
Oof.
Yeah, that's not great for the Chaos team right now.
No, not at all.
But it
So,
does lead to a turnover, and that means a beastman that can roam free.
and he engages him.
Bold choice.
Yeah, maybe he's kind of coming off that KO that just happened, wanting to bring some pain. I wonder if he forgets maybe that he's on offense right now?
That would be, while possible, I think unlikely. I guess he sees an opening. Maybe that's what it was. He knows the blitzers have the most movement on this team. It's a relatively slow team.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the second slowest in the league, possibly third, maybe.
Yeah, but if you... So I get, like, marking him so that he can't go forward, but if you're going to bring players up here to kind of, like, block lanes anyways, and you have that Chaos Warrior over there, which is probably going to get laid out anyways, sending that guy up there as a potential receiver, that blitzer has to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, that's a decent chance to a touchdown.
Yeah.
Alright. So Blitz already used, so this ball carrier is fine, and the Orcs have themselves in the situation which, you know, he pulled back one character as a safety, so he's not in dire straits, but most of his team's tied up right now. But he just cleaned up a bunch of linemen, which looks like he's not sending them, but he is fouling.
So this was something that was covered last season or not last season. I guess it was 2 seasons ago for the official BTBT, which was my first season. And there's a huge recommendation here. Don't foul if you have a player advantage.
Yeah.
It's relatively unnecessary because you're already up and you risk the odds of you rolling those doubles on either the pen roll or the injury roll aren't terribly much worse than the odds of me getting an actual injury that actually takes a player out.
Yeah. Curious why he didn't engage that blitzer. That blitzer has the movement to just walk around the screen.
Yeah, definitely an odd choice there.
Maybe he was expecting this cat to come up, but he only movement 6. He didn't have the movement to get in this position, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it'd have been 2 go for it, which is not a good.
Yeah, well, and it's weird because he made the choice to engage that exact blitzer a turn ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he was afraid that it was a free hit that he didn't necessarily need. But like you said, that leaves an exposed ball carrier.
Yeah, and he's going to do 1 go for it here. Oh, he's not going to do it to get the 2. Oh, and he's not blitzing at all. Do you have another player?
Oh.
Okay. Maybe that was an accident? Obviously, we can't see the timing of when they did plays. So it's possible that that was a total accident.
Yeah. It could be. It could be that he thought he had moved for the blitz and then just didn't click the proper route, or like he clicked out his whole route but didn't
That
actually go in for the
should
blitz.
be a touchdown. Yep.
Yep.
Cool. Those beastmen are hard to hold if you don't put them down, because that if you leave them standing there alone, just tagged, they're just gonna blitz through. So
Yeah. Did the Orcs use their reroll on that turn?
they did not.
So yeah, that seems like an odd choice there to not do the 2+ go for it with a reroll, and get that 2 die on the ball carrier.
Yeah, I was definitely expecting that blitzer to come up to give him the 2 die and then blitz and put that beastman down. But I guess with McFlappy's failure comes Masarek's gain.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge win for Masarak.
That was a really weird drive, but it did end in a touchdown, so you can't argue with results.
Yeah, and Masarak is going to know the weaknesses of this team better than anyone, seeing as he played it for, what, 3 or 4 years? Or I guess seasons, I should say.
Yeah. So
and movement allowance is definitely his edge in this.
Yes,
so.
yes. So we're seeing that he's doing the thing that I don't like, which is putting players on offense on the line. They are Black Orcs, so that is one benefit, but I don't like that because the blitz or perfect defense it's pretty good odds to mess you up.
Yeah, as I've learned a couple of times this season the hard way.
So, didn't set up any blitzers or linemen as eligible receivers to send down pitch, so this is likely not going to end in a touchdown for this drive. I think I would have set basically all my blitzers or linemen, with the exception of maybe 2, basically 2 to recover the ball, the rest of them downfield to be eligible receivers to try to get this touchdown since I'm down, especially knowing that you're about to get the ball back again.
Yeah. I wonder if he thinks, I mean, I guess technically he'll have the movement with that blitzer on the left side if he.
But with
not anymore.
But with a chaos team, you can't expect to get movement. You can't expect to get a lot of movement. They're a pretty hardy team that's gonna stand in the way. So let's see if he can get this. He picks it up.
Yeah, I believe.
And then no forward movement. Interesting that he wouldn't. I guess he's maybe just holding on to it to keep it safe, knowing that he can't get a TD.
Yeah. Moving on alignment is what, 5?
I think it's 6 for lineman. No, you're right, 5.
5. So, I mean, he does technically have the movement allowance required with a couple of linemen on the line. But it is going to require go for it. I think technically as well the Black Orcs could have, but, not the one we're going to pick.
Interesting he blitzed from that angle. He had obviously no problem with the strength because the assist, but was he purposely trying to tag that Black Orc?
Maybe.
Because that Black Orc's just getting a free hit on him after that blitz.
It could be, since, I mean, desperate times, desperate measures. Maybe he wanted to make sure that the Black Orc didn't use its full movement down the field to potentially get the touchdown.
I mean, you got so many eligible safeties for a 4 movement. Like, I'll not take the strength 4 hit, please, so that I can deal with him later.
Yeah.
Like, and if you're betting the drive on an AG2 catch, like, all right, I'll take that bet.
Right. Hey man, I'm just throwing everything out there I got.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of this is rust too. Like, I don't know how much these guys have been playing in the off season.
That's true. That's true.
All right, now we go. Now we're trying some go for it. I'm sure he just did the. Oh, he's throwing that hole. Oh no, he's throwing the.
Yeah, it was just a quick pass.
That was like bold move.
Yeah. So he's still got the chance. It's gonna be a hard pass though.
Yeah.
Even assuming
was that quick pass necessary though?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think he could have made it.
The ball carrier hadn't actually moved, right? He could have just moved it up, used that blitzer as a potential downfield blocker.
Yeah, he could have got to here, which would have at least been a short pass, I think. All right. Well, the eligible receiver is basically tied up now. So
I have seen crazier dodges. I don't know if he has the movement though. Should be 8, right?
he has it.
He's going for it.
No. Okay, one more.
Yeah. At that point, why bother doing it one at a time?
Yeah, you know you have to do it. Also weird that he didn't move it this way, since his ball thrower is going to be down this way.
Yeah. Every square counts on this throw, and by going all the way out there. Oh no, he actually did have to kind of go out there.
Yeah, but like he could have gone here and then brought it all the way to here.
Yeah,
I don't know
was thinking about the thrower, because the thrower came out wide, which made the throw even longer. But
Yeah.
he had to come out wide because of the Chaos Warrior.
Yeah. All right. So we're coming back 1-0. Pouring rain. It's a rainy season.
Yeah, a lot of rain this season.
So the Orcs have the ball this time. They actually managed to get hands on it right off the kickoff. So
The irony being that the moment rain happens, that's when they can pick the ball up.
oh, it's because it gets all that goop that comes out of their skin. It gets sticky because of the rain instead of just being a hardened crust.
You know what? That does make sense.
They are
Would you have followed up there? I feel like I would have followed out all of those blocks.
100%. And then probably put the lineman exactly where it was anyways, the ball carrier, just so that somebody couldn't follow up adjacent to him. And we see,
Yeah.
yeah. So he's making the cage. Obviously, that just using that line. That's why he's got that middle filled in. So it's not a bad cage at all. So nobody down pitch. So that means that the Chaos team is going to be able to choose where they want to put this fight. And it's most likely because of the movement allowance they have and the strength on blitzes, they're going to take it to those blitzers in the back.
Oh yeah, by far.
And all Masrek has to do is what he's doing right now is just keep in one space, and then he has all the time he wants to try to break this cage.
Yeah, because I mean, as an Orc team, you wanna. This is one of those rare teams where like engaging should be your top priority. I guess not even that rare. Like that's their whole thing though. So you have the strength advantage. You've got a lot of AV here. That's not going to be easy to penetrate for this team.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have no skills yet.
Yep.
So you really want to try to engage here every opportunity you get.
Yep.
Because to Mazrak, it's just not a good bet to deal with him.
Yep. So Mazrek's gotten him to funnel over on this side. His whole team can come to bear to kind of stop that wing. The only thing you got to worry about is this one lineman, but he's, despite being on offense, moving to engage one random beastman. So that receiver's covered now. Don't know why Masrag is engaging. That's like especially, I guess. Okay, I can see it now because against this black orc. I mean, the black orc can still throw a 1-die here, but I guess you want to try to pull those 1-dies out.
Yeah.
So this is
especially with the Black Orcs. If you're going to have the Black Orcs will have the strength advantage, but the trade-off there is they don't have block, they don't have dodge, they don't have anything.
Yep.
So.
All right. So there's his assist. So that was easy to grab, but exactly what Master was hoping. But did force him to use his reroll to get it done, though. So. Again, don't know if I would have gone that aggressive on defense. I would have stuck to the one space. That team's just too strong. And you want to really keep your players standing so that they're clogging everything. And then you can hit in that back. You can spend your rerolls and your blitzes on that backside.
Right.
Because he used that blitz just to make this line a little bit stronger, but that line immediately crumbled.
Yeah. And we're seeing here a big fear you're going to have as any slow team, and my team has this problem, your team has this problem. And obviously, orcs very much have this problem. Lateral movement is death.
Yeah.
It's almost never gonna be good for you
Yeah.
to move laterally and have 0 forward movement.
Excellent move bringing up that safety. The safety's still available, not tied up with anything. And then the lineman comes in to get hit, I guess,
Hmm.
instead of just
Uh,
marked.
Was that okay? So when we talk about our priorities,
Yeah.
free moves always are first because there's no reason not to do them.
Yep.
There are no rules, there's no risk. And then the second thing is the most important roles you have.
Yep.
Was that the role that you needed right now?
No, that's definitely going to turn this drive around because now what could have been an easy forcing the Chaos team back is now the Chaos team going to get that ball dislodged.
Yeah.
Which
And Mazarak is willing to, with 3 rerolls for 5 turns,
yes,
willing to reroll a push just to make sure that he gets a shot at that ball. There's no reason for him not to want to do that.
Exactly. So that ball's on the ground. It's in the middle of a mosh pit, and it's raining. So unless some weird stuff happens, like injuries or a lot of really good pushes, that's basically where that ball lives for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like textbook what not to do when we're talking about risk management and play management. Over there, like granted, like Masrak's probably happy to trade a badly hurt Beastman for ending that drive.
Yeah, by far. And giving him an opportunity to. At this point, Mazarak doesn't have to move the ball.
No.
All he has to do is keep it marked and make it basically impossible for the Steelers to touch the ball, and he wins. That's it.
Yep. Yeah, especially when you always have to think about risk management when you're down. That's it's super important that you keep risk management in mind. Like all those rolls, and he didn't have any plans for these guys other than to stand them up for free. Why make the rolls first?
Yeah.
All right. So all Masrek has to do is play smart now. Don't throw attacks unless you have to, because obviously the orcs are forcing themselves a lot of turnovers on their both downs. So put them into situations where their blocks are a little tougher. Don't throw blocks that you don't need to. You're on top right now. Just peel them off the ball where you can. Stand still where you would need to. Don't push on the ball. You don't have an option. I don't know.
Gonna push him onto the ball.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have attacked that guy because of I'm adamantly afraid of pushing onto the ball. Honestly, I think I would have blitzed unless it was a dodge. I don't think it. Yeah, it wouldn't have been a dodge, right? I would have hit this lineman just to try to get an injury out there.
See, for me, I think what I would have done is use the Chaos Warrior instead of pushing up against that blitzer. I would have used the Chaos Warrior, gotten the 2 die on the Black Orc because he was already marked properly for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way you would have had 3 bodies on the ball to his 1 at that time.
Yeah. Alright, so he's peeling bodies. There are no chaos bodies on the ball now. And pouring rain, eating up that last reroll.
Right.
And still a failure. And in a choice place for Masrak. All he has to do is peel that Black Orc 1 space away, and he's got a... Well, actually, he doesn't even need to. He can do this Beastman right here. It's a pretty clean pickup. Okay.
Yep, he does have to dodge... Oh, yeah, no, that Beastman, yeah. Alright. And honestly, if he can pick this up, he's pretty much home free at this point.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why he's not marking over here before making all these rolls. Because now is probably a time that you're...
picking up that 1 Beastman.
Yeah. But I guess you don't need to. I mean, the Black Orc's not going to catch that Beastman, but he will help out with this guy. That's the only reason I'd mark him. And he's probably just going to stand him up anyways after making all those rolls, so...
Yep.
That's a good.
This has definitely been a game that's been all about risk management, I think.
Yeah, and honestly, I would have done that exact same dodge. I think because that Black Orc's so far away, he's not contributing. Get my Chaos Warrior away. A stun, I'll take that as a win. No, that Chaos Warrior just became my
Yeah,
my
that's.
safety just in case.
Mhm.
All right, so booyah.
Yeah. And depending on how the Orcs feel, like this could be an opportunity where, if he might just start throwing more one dice, thinking, game's about to end. So.
Yeah. All
And
right,
Mazarek gets a very good second touchdown.
taking advantage of a
Definitely see.
situation.
Yeah, definitely seeing some good planning there on his end, some good defense with the circumstance built up.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, the Orcs had a player advantage, right? There was a KO or at least an injury out there.
I
Um,
think so, yeah.
to me, man, it just goes the same thing we're harping over and over again in every game is that why wasn't a blitzer back there just in case?
Hmm.
Um, that one blitzer back there would have made that whole situation a lot hairier, but instead it was an easy, just simple saunter into the end zone.
Yeah, and there's two things we were seeing in pretty much every game is lack of a lack of receivers and a lack of blitzers, or a
Mm-hmm.
lack of safeties, I mean. For most games, really. And it's one of those things, especially now, everybody's getting back into the rhythm, and it's not really super punishing right now. But later in the season, or when we get to the legitimate BTBT revival, if we get back to it, that's going to be real punishing.
I think Mastrak ended turn without throwing hits on his turn. Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting choice.
very polite.
Very polite. All right, so we have a 2-0 victory. I really don't think either of those touchdowns was planned per se. I think it was just taking advantage of a situation.
Yeah.
So we look at Beefcake Brigade Mastrak's team and his. Keep in mind these are probably considerable amount of armor rolls. He has almost 40 armor rolls, so that's why the number of dice is so high. But his rolls are on the high side, which is not. That's goes to show all those pens.
Hmm.
About a third penetrated, or sorry, a third penetrated. Um, which is not very common, especially with no mighty blow on the other team.
Right.
Uh,
Especially given, was it basically AV9 across the board?
AV8 for the Beastmen, and then AV9 for the Warriors.
So then
So
large rates can be AV8. So.
yeah. So looking at that, I think that's the only number that looks weird.
Mhm.
Everything else is basically how it should be.
Yeah.
Let's look at the block dice. Looking at that,
Pretty even spread. That's
yeah,
about what you would expect to see.
that is exactly, yeah. There's no, I don't see any reason to complain about that. The Steelers, their armor rolls look about right. Maybe slightly on the low side. I would have liked to, for odds purposes, maybe a couple more pens.
Hmm.
And then obviously no injury rolls because none of them got that high. Or no, I'm sorry, 3 injury rolls. I apologize for the
Yeah.
failure. But none of them other than stun. The die spread uh, pretty even, and I think with all those successful armor rolls, I think that's where a lot of those threes came into play.
Yeah, the 3 to 4 is really where things are. But, I mean, realistically speaking, when you're looking at a largely AG3 team, most of your dodges and a lot of those rolls are going to be 3 pluses as long as you're not going into tackle zones. So 3s really aren't that punishing, even though they're slightly on the low side for most teams.
Yeah. And then looking at the blocks, pretty good spread.
Yeah.
Arguably a little high on the stumbles.
Yeah,
Um,
and a little low on pushes.
Yeah, but I think overall pretty clean dice wise
Yeah.
across the board. Um, SPP Beefcake Brigade pulls out just a little bit more, so that's
Yeah,
good.
I mean that's a good level up though. I mean, whenever you can get a beastman to level up, that's a huge win.
Yeah. So looking at it, block succeeded was pretty similar on both sides, but it looks like Mass Rack took a little bit more punishment, but despite the fact that those blocks succeeded are pretty similar.
Yeah, but I mean that's what you would expect in this matchup because he lacks those skills and he was at a strength disadvantage by passing up that Chaos Warrior.
Yep. All right. Well, I say for Masrak, just knock off that dust. Against more powerful opponents, maybe take a one space defense. And always, your beastmen are eligible receivers, man. Send him down there. If he's going to leave his wings open, punish that. Pressure that backfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. That's one of the big things. And for both teams, I think make sure your priorities are in order. Get those free moves first because, like we saw a couple of times where you're throwing dice where you don't necessarily need to throw dice. And I'm not saying that I've never picked up a player after throwing dice, but usually it's because I have a plan for that player to move him or dodge out or something that will require a roll anyway. So a 2+ die roll versus 1 die is something that I'm willing to risk. But for the most part, definitely felt like a couple of priorities, especially throughout the second half, were a little out of place for both teams.
Yeah. For specifically the Steelers, get rid of that umbrella setup. And then run safety, at least one safety. And put those Black Orcs on the line, man. That's what their job is.
Yeah. Also, again, for you, you're largely an AG3 team. Blitzers and linemen are both eligible receivers.
Yep. Yep. Send those linemen down pitch. You don't necessarily. It doesn't have to be a blitzer if you still want to put the pressure on the hit, but send a lineman or two downfield because they're getting walloped anyways.
Yeah.
Or if you want the SPP, send the blitzers. I mean, usually when my orc team is real young, my blitzers play receiver just so they can get that SPP early.
Yeah, it's pretty common to see your high value players be early receivers and ball carriers just because you want them to level up a little bit quicker.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all I got. You got anything?
Nope, that's it. Great game for both sides, though. It was still a very entertaining game.
Yep. Very well done. And we will see you next time on Cablevision HD.
Later.